Hi, this is Diana, and welcome to my studio. And if you enjoy mixed media, art journaling, acrylic painting, and more artsy stuff, then this channel is for you. Keep watching. This video is inspired by the hashtag 29 Faces February challenge hosted by Ayala Art YouTube channel. And here is one of my kitties named Cassie, and her twin sister is Maggie Moo, and she just loves having her tummy pet. So she wanted to join me for editing while I edit this video and keep me company in the room. And she has unusual marking on her head that makes her look like she's wearing a hat. And she has beautiful green eyes, and she cannot get enough of belly petting. So I'm starting off here with a half sheet of 8.5 by 11. Either it's 8.5 by 11 sheet or it's 9 by 12, and it's like copy paper size. And I cut a half sheet, and now I folded that in half, and now I'm drawing half of a face, and you see it's narrower down at the bottom and wider at the top for a face. And I'm doing this so that I can have a completely symmetrical face. After that, after cutting it out, I fold it and line up the creases. And that first fold, when you fold it in half, is the guideline for the eyes. Then I'm folding it in half again, and I'm actually not making it a full half. I'm making it a little bit shorter so that I have a shorter nose. So I don't want a long nose, I want it a little bit shorter nose, because that guideline is where the bottom of the nose is going to hit. And now I fold between those two places in half, and that right there is where the mouth is going to be, the guideline. If you're new here, please subscribe and hit the bell for notifications of future videos. I'm going to use here my Tombow black marker, and although I drew it in pencil already, that doesn't show up so well on video, so I'm tracing it in the black marker because it shows up better on the video. And I'm coloring in the eyebrows right now, and the eyes are closed eyes. It's up to you whether you want to make yours open eyes or closed eyes. I'm choosing closed eyes because this is a fantasy galaxy girl. The nose are like it's like a forward C and a backward C and a letter U in the middle. It's just a simple way of making a nose. And the mouth is like the top of a heart that goes on the upper lip, and a straight line on the guideline, and a curved line for the bottom lip. And right now I'm doing the hairline because part of the top of the head does show in a portrait. It's not just all forehead. That would be too large of a forehead. And I'm coloring in the hair all black. And that's the finished line drawing before I'm going to add color to it. And I just want to go over here that there's usually one eye space in between two eyes, but I made it wider. I wanted the eyes further apart. That's where the bottom of the nose hits, and then that straight line is where the middle of the lip goes, and then you make like the top of a heart. Again, I'm just repeating myself right here, and then a curved line for the bottom lip. And then that part, that's not all forehead. That part of that is where some of the hairline shows. And then I changed that and made part of the hairline go down and a further down curve. So these are just the real basics of drawing a face or a portrait, where it's basic guidelines. I'm gluing the neck on, and I'm going to make the head a little bit turned to the side. And now I'm testing it on the black paper because I will be coloring and drawing the galaxy on black paper. And I'm testing the position, and those are my soft chalk pastels that that I'll be coloring the face with next. And I'm using a shade of red, and I color lightly with the side of the, not with a point, but with the side, and color lightly and then blend it out with my finger. The blending's really important. Just keep blending, blending, and blending. And I found my finger works the best, not a kitchen towel. That actually rubbed off the chalk pastel. So I found my finger works the best for the blending. Then I am using the tip of the soft pastel for the lips because I want them darker. And always the upper lip is darker than the bottom lip. Now I'm using some kind of, I'm using the light purple, but that's not showing up too well on that paper. So I switch colors to a more medium blue. And I'm creating eyeshadow on her eyelid. And I am trying to create, this is a fantasy face, fantasy whimsical. So I am creating, you know, a large amount of eyeshadow on the top, on her eyelid. And now I'm using my Micron pen, which is 1.0 for the eyelashes. And eyelashes are always curved lines. Don't make them straight lines. They're always curved lines. And that's my white chalk pastel for making the highlight on the bottom lip. There's always a highlight on the bottom lip. And now some highlights in the hair. So that's the face finish for this stage. I'm going to add more shading to it later. So I'm using the side of the chalk pastel. I'm using the blue, the bright blue, it's actually medium dark blue. And then I use a light blue, and I have this sped up, so that's why it's that's why I'm moving so fast. And then some purple, then some red, and I put like red in about 3 places. Odd numbers are more pleasing to the eye, so instead of just 2 places or 4 places, I try to put colors in at least 3 to 5 places. And now I'm doing the light, which I think I used some light green and then some yellow for light areas. And this is for my galaxy. This is a galaxy background. Now I'm going to use fixative, and I go outside and spray this first layer, but then off camera I do my second layer. So right now you're seeing, after I have sprayed with fixative, I did my second layer of the chalk pastel, and the colors came up much brighter. So just using my glue stick, I'm going to glue this to the almost finished galaxy. I am going to add stars in a few minutes. And all those creases that were the guidelines are totally going to come out right now. I'm going to lay wax paper on top. I'm using a scraper, and the scraper I happen to be using is a bowl scraper. A lot of people use an old credit card. And all those creases that were the guidelines will completely smooth out. And now her face looks... Her face looks too pasted on and not part of the surroundings. So now I'm adding that medium blue into her hair that was also used in the galaxy. I'm blending that into her hair. I will be blending it into all the sides of her face. Right now, the side of her face. Not too much, but it is enough to make her blend into her surroundings. And the side of the neck. And I draw her ear, both ears. And the ear guideline goes, the top of the ear should be where the eye guideline is, and the bottom of the ear should be where the bottom of the nose, that guideline is. That's the size of the ear. So continuing to blend her into the surroundings so she doesn't look so pasted on. And there's the neck. I put the neck all the way in shadow, completely in shadow. And now with the white chalk pastel, I'm going to make highlights on her eyelids. And smooth that out a little bit, then add a little bit more, blending it out a bit and adding it a little bit more. I really love chalk pastels. I'm sure it will be a really treat if I ordered pan pastels. I'm sure I would love them. I think you have to use them with a paintbrush though. I mean, you don't paint it on wet, but... And that's my Posca white marker. And I decided to make my stars with the white marker instead of like doing spattering on paint because I wanted more control. So stars usually are in clusters, and I actually put more of the clusters into the light areas. It makes them more glowing. But most stars, when you draw them on, should be kind of in clusters. So, but right in those light areas, it really makes them glowing. And I just press lightly here and there with medium, pressing light, pressing a little bit darker, and pressing most dark. I mean, not most heavy for a little bit bigger stars, but most of my stars are just tiny to medium size. The clusters is what really makes the difference. Rather than the size of the stars, I'm working more with clusters of stars, which makes them, whether they show up or not, makes the difference in how much they show up. All the way down to the bottom of the paper. These are shots of the finished picture, and I hope if you join me that you will create the type of face that you want, whether it be surrealistic, fantasy, whimsical, realistic, abstract. There's so many possibilities, and I can't wait to see. And thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. And have a great creative day.